start from within with a center of light, then when we go forth in corporea here, from that light, then that light comes out through us and through our manifestations. And that's what helps others to remember something higher than themselves, to remember Jehovah, to see a Dahai, an example of a Dahai, of a way up and out. That's the larger social purpose of building our inner temple. Yes, it does the individual thing. It does give us a center of light and peace and harmony and beauty and glory. But it also allows us, as we progress, and as that grows, because everything grows that's nurtured, then that ultimately comes here to the outside. And it gets expressed in corporea. How do we find this inner center, this inner light, this inner Oki? Because if we can find it, then we can build on it. But how can we build on it if we can't find it? Well, we're given steps as to how to do that in Oahspe, for example. But we can get it directly from the Creator through His direct inspiration and through inspiration from His kingdom, through His angels. They have to involve staying with Jehovah and His light and His wisdom. And that means an herbivorous diet, and basically a vegan diet, and a daily bathing, and putting away the four heads of the beast, which is spoken about in Oahspe. And those are the ones that like to live in the corners over here, because remember, that's where the fullness is in 7, and the corners over here, and the beast wants to have all the goodies without laboring for it, or if they can get others to labor for them, to get the goodies, then that's all well and good for as far as they're concerned. But that's the beast, that's the self. And a higher aspect is the collectives, the collective of humanity, the collective of the group, the person of the group, the person of all creation. We can go to that extent. And so how do we do that? And how do we and we do that by drawing closer to the Creator. We have to start with the foundation. We have to start with step 1. On the Dagani, on the Dahai, the Dagani has to start. 118, we have to find the way forward. 119, we actually have to do the effort to climb. And then when we do that, we'll find that we're getting assistance, descent of the angels, descent of those who can be most helpful to us in our progression. In building our inner temple, we want to build not just our own inner temple, but everyone's inner temple, because when we have a soul of light and we go forward in it, everything out here becomes beautiful and harmonious, and the growth of not only faith and trust and belief in the good and the all highest, but also the sustaining of hope and the nurturing of humanity, of mankind itself. Now that sounded real good there, but we know from experience that we can be in a place of beauty and light, and all of a sudden, boom, a dark spirit came upon us, or an evil spirit. And I don't mean necessarily an angel, but I mean just the sensibility of that. Something changed, and what do we do about it, and how do we... In other words, there is, and always will be, darkness and evil. And so how do we deal with it? How do we sustain our inner temple, soul of light amidst all this darkness, amidst all this unknown and unknowing, amidst all this ignorance that may be there. And remember, when we say ignorance, we can't put ourselves above that, because we ourselves, compared to those angels up there, we're just ignorant babes. We're all children of one great spirit. We're all children of Jehovah. We're all brothers and sisters. As we rise up, we then desire to help, even as in a family, where if your little brother or your little sister fell, you would want to come over, and if they're hurting or whatever, you want to come over and soothe them and help them, and in whatever ways that Jehovah directly inspires. We need to learn how to deal with the darkness, the unknown, and the ignorance. And we always have to keep the Dahai in sight. And we also have to deal then with the black doubt, the Segwan, the naysayers, and those who perceive things differently and are adamantine about having their own way, but which is okay if they want to have their own way, but having their own way and imposing upon you, well, then that's not good. We need to find ways to do this. How do we go forth and live in a place of, how do we stay in light? First of all, how do we find light? And then once finding light, how do we stay in light? And then after we can learn how to stay in light, how can we help others to find the light and to stay in the light? It's a big labor, it's a big chore, and Jehovah is God over this earth and heaven, through His lords. That's what they're working for. They're helping humanity. They're helping us, every one of us, to move toward and remember Jehovah, the all-person, and in Him, with Him, inside, the light inside, move forward, so that from our labor and from the combined labors of all those above, then we can manifest outward here a place of beauty and of peace and of light. Now, you will get those who will say, well, that's utopianistic, it can't be done, it's been tried, and so forth. But that's okay. That's what they perceive, and that's what they perceive. Ours is to live it, to actually do it, to actually learn how to stay one with Jehovah and His kingdom, His light within, right here in the soul, and have it bloom forth outward and remain so. And how do we sustain it amidst all this? Well, there are ways, and we're told those ways in Oahspe, the foundations. We can't hope to get there by ignoring the foundations, the foundational, the steps, the initial steps. You can't go from the bottom of the Dahai to the top of Dahai in one leap. We have to go a step at a time. It's not something that's instantaneous, but on the other hand, it's essentially the only game in town that's worthwhile, that's truly worthwhile, that's truly enduring, that's truly everlasting.